All right, so in order for you to be able to do your form today, we have to learn what implicit means. Yesterday we learned what explicit means. It's easy information. It's easy to find. It's right there reading in the text. And a great example was that tarantulas don't need a large space to live. That's easy information, but I'm going to show you how we can dig a little bit deeper and find out what we really know about spiders, tarantulas, without even knowing that we know it. So I used this picture yesterday with explicit and implicit. So explicit is easy to find information. These are boys. There's four of them. Count them. One, two, three, four. And they're outside. You can see in the background. That's easy information, easy to find. You don't even have to think about it. You just have to look at the picture. The implicit information, you have to think a little bit more. They are dancing. You have to look at their body movements. They're flossing. You have to look at what their arms look like, what their legs look like, that they're in a line. That's all clues that show you that they're dancing. And more specifically, flossing. They are friends, so they're close to each other. They look like they're around the same age. They're all boys. Those are all really three good, strong things that can tell you that they're probably friends with each other. So that's the things that you really have to use your brain for. It's not just something that you can see from the picture. You really have to think about it. So I got another example for you. So these are a picture of blueberries. And from this picture, the easy to find information is that they're blue, they're round, and they're small. That's what you can definitely tell from a blueberry. But the implicit information about these blueberries, you have to have experience with blueberries. You have to be smart. You have to have some knowledge in your brain to be able to tell me implicit information about blueberries. Like they're sweet. You would not know that unless you've either tried it and you remembered it, because you can't tell from this picture. They could be spicy for all we know. You either had to try it and remember it, or somebody told you that information and you have it in your brain. Miss Acton does not like blueberries. I don't like the way they like pop when you bite into them. If you've ever had a blueberry, they have like the skin and they're real juicy on the inside. It creeps me out. But because I have tasted them before and people have told me what they taste like, I know that they're sweet. They're also juicy on the inside when you bite into them. You cannot tell that from this picture. You have to either have had somebody tell you that information and you remembered it, or you've experienced it yourself and you remember it. It's in your brain. And also, they're healthy for you. So again, either you have learned that blueberries are healthy because they're a fruit, but that's something you know from your brain. You cannot tell that stuff from just this image. So you're going to find out today in our tarantula text that there's some hidden information, implicit information that you have to use your brain to find. All right, so yesterday we worked on the word explicit and I showed you how to break it into three parts. And then I showed you when I drew it, my kind of drawing of how it's easy to find. So the first thing that came to my mind is what is something that's easy to find? Milk. Why is it easy to find? Because you can't just put milk anywhere. You can't put it in your bed. You can't sit it in the corner of the kitchen. You can't sit it outside on the porch. Unless it's cold outside, you could, but most days you can't. It has to go in the fridge. So when someone says, hey, can you find the milk? It's easy to find because you know it's probably in the fridge. And if you don't have any at your house, where do you go to find it? A store, a grocery store. You know where to find milk. So milk is easy to find. So milk is a good example of a drawing of something that's explicit. Something that's implicit that you have to use your brain. So implicit looks a lot like explicit except that beginning sound. So the beginning sound in explicit has the exit sound. My dog's being goofy. And the implicit has the I-M beginning, but it sounds exactly how you would read it, implicit. And this is the drawing I came up with implicit. So the definition for me for implicit is that you have to infer. You have to use what's already in your brain to make a really good guess. You use your brain to find out. So implicit information is the information that shows you how stinking smart you are. When I look at this picture, there's a lot of stuff going on in this picture, a lot of information, but you have to use your brain to find what we need. You have to use your brain to find the hidden information. So this drawing has a lot of information in it. It's got a lot of stuff going on, but hidden in it is the implicit information, and that is the square that is in this picture. You have to really search for it. You have to use your brain to find it. You can't just say, oh, there it is. You have to scan the picture to be able to find it. And a few seconds later, you're able to find that inference, that tiny piece of information with your brain. There's that square right there. So it's just a little bit harder to find. It's not easy to find like your milk would be. It's something that you got to really search for. I like to think of like a puzzle. Puzzle is full of pieces that you really have to think about where they go. And that's kind of like implicit. You have to use your brain to find where it belongs. So that's the definition of how to show you explicit and implicit. Now you're getting ready to do some sentences where you have to fill in the blank with some words.